Starting with this storage bay here, we have our house batteries. That sends in the power to the coach for all your necessary items like refrigerator, water heater, lights, all your necessary items. Your next compartment over, we are going to have our chassis batteries, or engine batteries as they're called, right here. And the next over is going to be your charging system and power cord. The power cord on this particular coach is a 50 amp, and we've run it out and plugged it into our campground site. Again, checking to make sure the breaker on the campground plug is in the on position. Once we come back over here to our charging system, we see a green light letting us know that we have power coming into the coach, so we are correctly connected. If you happen to have a campsite that has a 30 amp, we do send out an adapter, and even an adapter that'll go down to a smaller 15 amp plug. Not recommended to use your 15 amp plug if you're running the air conditioners, only for charging your batteries. All right, this one here is your Magnum Energy charging system control panel. Let you know if we are charging the batteries by being plugged in or running the generator. And you can also turn off the charger if your batteries have reached full charge, and the display will tell you. Or turn on the inverter if you want to operate 110 power without being plugged in or the generator. All right, so if you're having some troubles with the electrical in your coach, be it the 110 for TVs or the 12 volt for overhead lights and such, you need to locate the fuse and breaker panel for that coach. In most coaches, it's going to be located in a bedroom, maybe along the bed or at the closet area, or in some coaches, it'll be next to or below the refrigerator. They're always along the floor line. That'll be the easiest way to find one. This particular one's right next to the closet. And we have a breaker panel similar to the one in your home, and a fuse panel with colored fuses similar to the one that's in your car. For a breaker, if it is tripped, it'll be in the middle of the switch location, and to flip it back, you'd simply kick it back over just like one at home. If you have a 12 volt fuse that is blown for an overhead light set or one of the other items in the coach, you would pull the fuse out, take a look at the fuse, and there's a small wire inside. If that wire is burnt, then the fuse is the problem. If it's not burnt, then you may have further technical help you'll need. Please call Share My Coach. Right here we have the control panel for a Class C or even a small Class A motorhome. Fairly similar to the larger one. Up at the top you're going to have your slide room control. And down here we're going to have our test panel. The test panel on this one, you're going to hold each individual item. Fresh water, we'd press and hold. Gray water, press and hold. And down the line, propane, main battery, which is the engine battery, auxiliary, which is your house. Then you have your water heater. This particular style only has a propane model. You just simply turn it to on. If it has a fault, that little fault light will come back on. If not, give it 30 minutes. Auxiliary battery, on and off. That should be on at all times when you're out. And then you have your water pump switch and generator start and stop. Now, if you're not connected to shore power for your electricity, you're going to be using a generator to get your electricity. The generator on this particular coach is a diesel, and it is up in the front. The generator starts and stops from multiple switches, one at the generator itself. Most likely you'll use the one inside the coach. We also have a breaker on the coach, on the generator. In case you trip too much power, it's going to send the breaker into the off position. It's simple enough to just turn it back on and then check to make sure you don't have too many items plugged into the coach. Coming over to the center of the dash here, we do have the generator start and stop. To start the generator, we're going to press and hold on the on button until it starts. Of course, if it's a cold morning, you do want to hold in the off position until the little green light comes on. That's priming the engine. It is also diesel, so it needs to warm up a little. Once it has turned on, then we'll go ahead and start the generator. Press and hold it until it actually starts. Again, on cold mornings, that process could take up to 30 to 45 seconds. Our next panel here would be the Onan generator control panel. It has a start and stop button, just like the one at the dash and the one outside we've seen. And it also has a display that's going to give you some information. Really nothing to change here. only to start and stop. And in a large Class A or Class C motorhome, you may have an Onan 5500 series generator. Looks like this one here. To remove the door, get your hands on the side and watch your knuckles at the top, and you're gonna just pull outward on the top. Remove the door. Over here you'll have your start and stop button, your 30 amp breakers. This coach has 2 breakers on the generator. And you have your altitude adjustment from the sea level up to 10,000 foot. So if you need to set it to 4,000 foot, you'll twist the dial up to the 4,000 or 5,000 foot level that you need. All right, now we'll go through the operations and troubleshooting issues of a 4,000 watt Onan generator, usually found on your travel trailers, toy haulers, and small Class C motorhomes. To remove the door, we're going to open the latches, remove the access door, and then you're going to have the components of the generator. Most commonly, your problem when accessing this will be a breaker. A small breaker is tripped due to having too much electricity at once. Maybe the microwave's on, the AC's on, and the wife plugs in the hair dryer. So right down here is going to be a small little breaker. If it trips, it would have gone back towards inside of the coach. All you need to do is flick it back out. And the generator will still be operating, but you'll just have no power until the switch is returned to its normal position. You'll also have a start and stop button out here, but usually you'll use the remote switch from inside the vehicle. Another key feature is going to be the altitude adjustment. Every time you're up in the mountains, you're going to need to readjust this altitude adjustment. Right now it's set at sea level, and if you were up at 4,000 foot, you'd simply turn the dial to the 4,000 foot mark. Failure to do that would cause the generator to shut itself down.